What's up? This is Ryan Kohler, CEO of Applicant Pro, with today's hiring tip: how to improve your results from Indeed. I actually snagged this picture. That's a real picture I took with my iPhone when I was in Austin, Texas, of an Indeed building. I've been working with Indeed for like 10 years now. I remember when Indeed was just starting out, and we started pushing our jobs over to there from Applicant Pro way back then. So today I want to spend a few minutes talk about how to improve your results from Indeed. And I'm not talking about spending money or using pay-per-click. So this is a little bit different. Certainly the things we're talking about here would maximize your effectiveness of your pay-per-click. But specifically, we're talking about how to increase the results you get for free, right? So we're going to start off with, just jump over to Indeed, and I'll run a search here, right? Customer service rep in Lehigh, Utah. The very first part, certainly I have 6 points here. Point number one is, make sure that your jobs are actually in the organic area of Indeed. If you look at Indeed, and you see here, we've got these top ones that say sponsored, right? The top 3 are sponsored. What I'm talking about is the one starting in number 4. These are the organic listings. And basically, to get your job in the organic listings, you generally need to be feeding your jobs there from an applicant tracking system like Applicant Pro, or I believe if you post them directly on Indeed, you can get your jobs into the organic area. And then, of course, down here on the bottom, the last 2 are sponsored. So that's number 1. Clearly, you're not going to optimize your results from Indeed if your jobs aren't actually there. Number 2, when we came in here, and actually I'm going to use Bank Teller as a good example here, and we'll kind of use this customer service and Bank Teller idea, right? The number 2 one is choose the right keywords to target. So if you take a good example, Bank Tellers are a great example. A Bank Teller is technically a customer service job, but that's not, especially at a credit union, that's not what they call it. A lot of your credit unions will call it a member, I can't spell, member services rep. So they'll call this member services rep because they're members of a credit union. The customers there are members; they're not customers. And in the credit union industry, just this is my example I'm going to use. They really don't want to refer to these people as customers. This members idea is a big deal in the credit union industry, which is great. The problem is it's the wrong keyword to target. There's very few job seekers who go to Indeed and search for member services representative. And so that's number 2 here. Choose a great keyword. I actually have a tool now. My background, if you don't know me, while I run a hiring software company, before that I was a search engine marketer, and so I tend to use a lot of search engine ideas. And so I've got this little tool. It's called SEO Book Keyword Tool. Let's see if I can fire it up here. You can Google, SEO Book Keyword Tool. You really use any keyword tool for this. Sorry, I didn't log in before I started the video. Let's log in here really quick. I'll get logged in. Maybe. There we go. Get logged in here, and I'll show you how it works. But the concept is being able to decide what the most popular keywords are, because a lot of times as employers, we focus on how we refer to the job or the job title that we've picked, and we don't focus on the keyword or the job title that the job seeker would actually search for. And I'll be honest, that's really all that matters, is what would the job seeker search for? So I use this keyword tool. It's actually something SEO guys like me would use for marketing, but here's how I use it. I would come in here and I would run a search for membership services rep job, right? And I just put the word job or jobs, right, on the end of it. I press submit, and it's going to show me how many times it's searched for. And actually what it's saying is none. We'll just go ahead and change it to membership services, or we'll actually scale this way back. We'll go with member services job, and we'll see how many of those are searched for. So what you're going to find is that it's hardly ever searched for, meaning, now certainly this doesn't completely correlate, but look at this. Member service representative jobs are searched for 22 times per month. Credit union member service representative, member service specialist. Look at how few people are searching for this word. Now, certainly the people who are running this search are definitely in tune and working for a credit union, but those people aren't the only people who would be qualified for this job. If we instead change this to customer service, And because that really at the heart of the matter is what a teller job or a member services job is. Customer service jobs are searched for 24,000 times a month. So this is a great example. Point number 2, choose the right keywords to go in your ad. And those keywords should be based on what the job seekers would search for. If you get too specific, if you focus in too much on just the words that you use in your industry, then you're basically getting your job not in front of a whole bunch of people. If you take a look at it, think about it. Somebody who works at Wells Fargo or at a bank is not very likely to search for member services. They're probably going to search for the word teller. So by using member services instead of teller, you basically are not having your job show up very well for all the banking tellers who are out there who could totally do the job and are completely qualified. But a step further, you have a whole bunch of people who I would call the future talent, right? They're people who haven't gotten to the teller job yet. And the way I figure out where those people are at today is I go look at a bunch of teller resumes and see what job they had before they become a teller. And what I find is those would be fast food workers and they would be retail associates and those kind of things. Those folks would probably be very likely to search for customer service, but completely unlikely to search for member services. So that's tip number 2, choose the right keyword, right? Tip number 3 is have a good job title. Now, there's this habit in HR and with employers that they look at this job title and they want to kind of get cute. They want to come up with a really cool sounding job title. I actually have a client, they used to be a client, that their job title, they were a restaurant, kind of a sandwich shop, but they wanted to sound cooler than what they were. I mean, certainly you could say sandwich fast food worker, right? That's really what the job is. And Subway came along and said, no, we're going to call them sandwich artists, because a sandwich artist is so much cooler. It sounds more important than fast food worker. Well, here's the problem. No job seekers were searching for sandwich artists back then. Now, certainly now Subway's been around for a while, so there might be some people using that. And so this fast food, or not fast food, this restaurant that I had working with me, the sandwich shop, super nice sandwich shop, they would call their jobs experience creator. Now, certainly they're trying to say that that's what the job is. Your job isn't just to make sandwiches, it's to create an experience for our customers. I totally understand that. But here's the problem with that. Even if your job did show up on a search for, say, a fast food worker, and somebody's scrolling down through this list and they see a job title called experience creator, they're not going to associate that with the type of job they're looking for. And if they're not going to associate it, then they're not going to click. And the goal of this page of your job showing up here, certainly using the right keywords will get you to rank higher, but you also want to make sure that whatever shows up here makes me as a job seeker want to click. So if my target job seeker is looking for a fast food job and I use a job title like experience creator here, the likelihood of me clicking to go and read more about the job is very, very low. And if somebody doesn't click, then they're not going to read your job ad. And so the goal here of the title, of your first sentence here, of having these reviews, and more importantly, let's see if we can find one here, of this easily apply. If you scroll down through, you'll see here, some of them say easily apply. All of these things will increase the likelihood of a job seeker actually clicking and reading the rest of your ad. So you want to make sure, this is tip number 3, have a good job title. And tip number 4, use Indeed Apply. This easily apply here thing means that as a job seeker on Indeed who has a profile, I can apply without going to their website. I can use the information I already have stored on Indeed to apply. This increases clicks. And that's the goal of this page. Really, the goal of optimization at all is to break down the long process, which would be, generating lots of applicants, break it down into smaller steps and take one step at a time. So the step here that we're looking at says, how can we get job seekers who see our job on this page to want to click? And so again, the way we do that, have a job title that makes sense to them, have good reviews, make sure this first sentence has good information in it, and have Indeed Apply turned on. We'll talk about that in a second here. Have this easily apply there so I want to actually click and go look at the job. Now, number 5 here. So again, we're breaking these steps down into smaller steps. So now let's look at the goal of this page. The goal of this page when I'm reading your job ad is to make me, the job seeker, want to apply. That's the goal. It's not to scare me away. It's not to filter me out. It's not to do any of those things. Your job is to make me want to apply for the job. So the way you do that is you write an ad that doesn't suck, right? You don't use your big, long, nasty job description full of bullet points. Those job descriptions, they look like, a bank robber brought a lawyer with them, and the lawyer wrote out their list of demands, and it's miles and miles and miles of you must lift 50 pounds and have to carry it across the room, and you're going to have this experience and that experience. We would prefer that you had X, Y, and Z. That really doesn't make me want to apply. And more importantly, it sounds like every other job out there. So if every other job looks the same, then why would I click to apply to your job? And that's really the question you want to ask yourself. Who are our target job seekers? And what is it that they're looking for in a job that will make them want to come and apply for us? So the goal of this ad here is to make me want to apply. What that means is I need to explain pay. Pay's a good one, right? If our pay is good, then we should tell them. But more importantly, I should tell them, number one, why they should want to work for our company. That means how cool are we? Our company culture is awesome. We provide X number of perks. We do blah, 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 right? This is your reason why you want to work for our company. For me here at Applicant Pro, I can tell you the reason why. We hire a lot of moms. They're my target audience. And so I hire all of these working moms to come and work for me. So we have this awesome culture. And we have these phenomenal perks. Our culture is one of, high performance, but balance. And balance in life is really important to a working mom. Our perks are perks that a software company normally wouldn't have. Normally, software companies would have ping pong and Nerf guns and blah, 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 blah. It'd be kind of like a big party, right? But I hire a bunch of moms, and so that's not what we do. We instead have lunches and massages, and our newest one, I pay for house cleaning for our employees. I pay or I reimburse them $100 a month for a house cleaner to come and clean their house. Why? Because if you're a working mom, that's a huge stress for you. And so we have really cool perks. So I'm going to put those in my ad as far as why you want to work for me. Number two, why do you want to do this job? What's in it for you? I like to use a day in the life instead of a big list of here's what you'll be doing. I like to tell a story. The tone of this ad should be the same as my culture. I'm super laid back. Our company's super laid back, right? I go to work in t-shirt and shorts. My ad needs to sound like t-shirt and shorts. If I go to work in a tie and a button-up suit, then I guess my ad will sound like that. But the ad, the tone of it should be matching your culture. But this kind of, here you've got this job ad here with responsibilities and qualifications. This responsibilities thing, make it sound cool. Like have one of your employees write it. What's it like? A day in the life as a membership services person. Explain what it's like and why they should want the job. Talk about future growth, career opportunities, all those kind of things. Qualifications, again, nice and short. It's okay to have some bullets here, but make sure that you're not overstating the qualifications. If you have preferred qualifications, then you should probably ask those as a question, but only put in the real required qualifications. One of the reasons for that, females don't apply for jobs that they're not 100% a fit for. So if your company is wondering why you don't have as many females apply for your job and you're overstating all your qualifications and making it sound like it's almost impossible for them to get the job, that's why. So go validate the qualifications. So again, the goal of this job ad, make me want to apply. So our final one, which I already brought up, this apply now button here means that they have Indeed Apply turned on. But if you're using Indeed Apply just through Indeed, there's limitations to what you can do. You might get flooded with unqualified applicants. So if you feed your job questions in here from your applicant tracking system, like if you were using Applicant Pro, then as you apply to the job, we would actually feed the job questions in there, which we could set as auto disqualifying. So we could feed a whole bunch of questions in there and ask the questions that we really want to know, either to auto disqualify or to score the applicant to rank them. So again, the goal is maximize the number of people who apply, but then use the screening questions to filter that list down to the best people. A lot of companies will do the opposite. They'll actually try to limit the number of people who apply by making this ad sound really scary. That doesn't help anybody. Honestly, disqualified people or unqualified people don't read the ad anyway. And what you end up doing is scaring away people who are probably right on the border of your qualification that you probably would end up hiring anyway, but now they just don't apply. So if you make your ad scary, they're not going to apply. But so that's our 6 tips on how to increase the applicants you get from Indeed without spending any extra money. Let me just recap. Make sure you push to the organic area. That was number 1. Number 2, choose the right keywords that are popular. Again, you could use this keyword tool by SEO Book or any other keyword tool to figure out what ones are the most popular words to use. Number 3 here, have a good title, right? Remember that job seekers are landing on this page and they're deciding whether this job sounds interesting based on the title. So make sure that the title makes sense to them. Use Indeed Apply. You see it here as this easily apply here, as well as on the Apply Now button over here on this page. And then finally, and most important, write a good job ad that actually makes them want to excited about applying to the job and tells them this is a good place to work. If you can't do that without lying, then maybe you need to reevaluate whether you're a good place to work or not and make some changes. If you want to learn more about how to write a better job ad or about our tools, go visit applicantpro.com/tools and download our How to Write a Killer Job Ad guide. We found that the job ad is the #1 most important piece of the hiring process as far as for generating additional applicants. Write a good job ad, you'll get better applicants. It's not about pushing to more job boards. It's about making sure your ad actually speaks to those job seekers. But thanks for watching and good luck hiring.